Good day to you, partner. I'm Peevy, and I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this forsaken camp.
I think yeah, I just had an idea.
Hey guys, Weed Solo here, aka the Skeleton King. Ren and I have been working, we're putting in the time to honestly make this a reality. I just want to say I'm excited that there seems to be a lot of people out there who do want to see fire golems functional. I was there in Season 2 beta when they were busted, and they're still busted, but now they're busted in a bad way. They really weren't that good in-game, probably because they were busted. But there were issues with them clearing Nightmare too fast and being too good early on in Hell Cows. Now, again, Clay Golems are really good for early farming in Hell. Skellies are not that bad, especially if you just get, like at least plus 15, which isn't that hard, guys. Look, like in Nightmare, I make this video. So I tell Ren, sit down. He's an emotional guy. He's upset. He's throwing things around. He says, I'm just going to nerf it by 50%. And I said, Ren, take a deep breath, put in your tampon. I have an idea. That's what the beginning of the video is about. I told him I got an idea, and he looked worried. And I said, don't worry about it, because I'm like a really intelligent individual. I'm sure you guys have understood that by watching my content, there probably isn't somebody smarter out there, like ever. Like, sure, Donald J. Trump, the greatest president ever, he has the greatest memory of all time. Well, I'm probably the most intelligent person of all time, at least top 3. So, based on that, I said, Rin, I've got it. If they were nerfed in Season 2 beta for outperforming in Nightmare and early cow farming, as much as it doesn't matter that much, I was concerned about it. That is true. I was. I had posts back then. I was the first person to bring it up. I think. I honestly do. Because people were like, it doesn't matter. Who cares about Nightmare? And I'm like, well, this is the other side of it. Like, yes, Nightmare is so redundant these days that they almost should just delete it. It should just be you build a character and you're in hell. Because, let's say something first. Project Diablo 2 is just better than Diablo 2 Lords of Destruction. It's just better. In fact, there's nothing I can think of better in LOD over PD2. Unless you're a fan of dueling, because there's still a more active dueling scene on BNet, or you're one of those weird people who likes to play pre-synergy LOD, which I'm not saying there's no argument for, but it's like you gotta come to terms with the times, my friend, because it was like what 15 years ago that happened. You gotta accept the new. So PD2 is just better. And these people do a good job every season of making it fresh. But one of the problems they've encountered making it fresh, or, even just early on in PD2, is Nightmare is kind of this forgotten difficulty. Like, it's even normal at this point is becoming so easy for most characters. It's not that it's impossible to balance all of these things. It's just how much does it really matter is one of the arguments you could say. But anyways, the Fire Golems in Nightmare Season 2 Beta are a little bit better than the Fire Golems you see on screen right now. That's how good they were. I don't really understand it based on the skill cap thing, but I guess because I think there were things done to their numbers that I don't think maybe Senpai or Kanai understood. It's kind of like the DS situation where there's like stuff happening and I don't think they know how to nerf it without it being busted. And so they just took a busted skill and nerfed it. So now it's busted, not busted, if that makes sense. But they were doing too good. Like, I was there in Season 2 beta. I knew that Senpai wouldn't be happy with how fast it was clearing content. So I told Rinrin, okay, so remember, he's throwing a hissy fit. I literally had to change his diaper because he couldn't contain himself, and he's incontinent when he gets emotional. So I said, let's nerf him by 20%, because he wanted to nerf him by 50%. And I said, that's ridiculous, okay? Let's not pull a senpai, all right? Let's not overreact here the day before it goes live and nerf a skill by 50% without even telling people that it's going to be nerfed by 50%. He could have put that in the patch notes. Instead, he just said fire golems are nerfed. Okay? Let's not do that. Look, we want to keep people excited about hashtag free fire golems. So I said, nerf him by 50%. And he said, why should I listen to you? And I said, well, because I'm one of the most intelligent people on the planet. Now you're getting this video. See, it's all coming together. So, and I told him, I'm so smart. Look at how I'm doing this. So, you do normal bail till 42. So what does that mean? That means you have 54 skill points when you get in the Nightmare. What does that mean? That means you can have 12 hard points in the Fire Golem and lower resist. And then as you're going through Nightmare, you'll get a few skills. You'll get a few levels. So I did this all super mathematic. Now, by the way, we're in Chaos Sanctuary, and this is kind of the meat of the video. And this is kind of just fire builds in general. When they encounter areas that aren't good for their, elemental priorities, they go really, really slow. And lower resist is not enough to deal with this. By the way, in Season 2 beta, they were way faster than this right now. So I really don't think this should be a problem anymore. And by the way, I do some hell farming just to show you. I think it's tits right now. And that's kind of just the way Diablo 2 is designed, is if you farm an area that's good for your element, so let's say, Ancient Tunnels as a cold sork, or Stony Tomb as a fire sork, or what's one of the other classic areas? Pits for light sorks. You do them well, okay? And I don't know what it is with a lot of players, but a lot of players seem to demand builds or content around the ability to farm everything. And it's even with broken builds in PD2, you should still stick to certain areas or certain maps. That's just how the game should be. If you play a Wake of Fire Assassin, you should farm Hell Cows faster than anybody else. I don't know if you should have an argument against that. If you play a Poison Necro, I think you should farm, Blood Moon faster than anybody else, although I don't know why you'd want to run that map nonstop over and over again. But see, Fire Golems were so bad in Chaos Sanctuary. My Clay Golems with 1 hard point and 1 hard point amp damage are doing more damage than them. If that's not fair, I don't know what is. Now, you could be the kind of person who goes, well, Wheat Solo, you're the 3rd most intelligent person ever, or you say top 3, which means you could be top 1, probably are. You seem like a pretty cool guy. What about Pierce? Okay, what about that? Well, I'd go, summons only benefit from half your Pierce. And then you'd go, but that still sounds good, and I'd go, it is good. But I don't think there's ever going to be a world where with Fire Golems showing the numbers they are, they're going to be that dominant in other areas. Now, I know you'd go, well, Wheat Solo, you did, ROB in sub 6 minutes. That's not feasible anymore. For one, it wasn't feasible then. It's really not. Because one of the things about a Fire Golem build is you're going to be squishier than normal. Like you are. You're not going to be as tanky as a Poison Necro. Trust me. You'd go, but Wheat Solo, I don't get it, because you're playing summons, which means you play AFK and you follow behind your summons. And I'd go, you stop it, because you're the problem. Just because you're playing a summon build, if you play them AFK, you're never going to play fast. And by the way, if you want to play AFK summon style, more power to you. You play the game how you want. But do not imply that just because you're playing a summon build, you have to play it AFK. and that if you play it AFK, you'll go as fast as somebody who's not. And in that video, I was playing very aggressively with very tanky gear. Now, I will go back into BIS if there's interest, but I think what I'm more concerned about at this point is just getting some idea that at least Senpai and Kanai are thinking about this as, you know, as a consideration, okay? That's all I ask. And I don't want Rin to call me up late at night anymore, you know, tears coming down his cheeks. I don't know how much more of this he can take. I think he might just nerf them by 90% any day. So, for all of you people out there, you don't need to like the video. You don't need to comment or subscribe. You don't need to come to my lit OnlyFans, where you can see the third, you know, top 3 most intelligent person of all time doing, you know, insane things with cucumbers. What I want you to do is write hashtag Notice Me Senpai. And that's for 2 reasons. One, it's because I do want Senpai to at least notice what Rin is doing. By the way, Rin's the hard worker. I'm not. And the other side of it is, it also is kind of like he is the Senpai. GG, guys.
I like you.
Senpai!
I like you a lot. I want to ask you a question. Straight out. Flat out. I want you to give me the honest answer. What do you think the chances are of a guy like you and a girl like me ending up together?
Well,
Skeleton King.
that's difficult to say, and we really don't...
Hit me with it. Just give it to me straight. I came a long way just to see you.
Senpai!
Least you can do is level with me. What are my chances?
not good.
You mean not good like 1 out of 100?
I'd say more like 1 out of 1,000,000.
So you're telling me there's a chance? Yeah!
先輩がその気ならやらせてあげてもいいんすけど。
Senpai!
I desperately want to make love to a schoolboy.